Harry Potter series, 2001 to 2011. Then and now, 2026. The boy who lived became the man who paid for it all. But in the shadow of Hogwarts' stone walls, gold didn't always buy peace. Does a multi-million-dollar paycheck in 2001 secure a legacy in 2026? Or does the weight of a magic wand eventually crush the hand that holds it? We are peeling back the velvet curtain on the 8 highest-paid stars of the wizarding world to see who kept their magic and who was consumed by it. Number 1. Daniel Radcliffe. $95,600,000 US. The boy with the lightning scar was only 11 years old when he was plucked from a comfortable middle-class London upbringing by a literary phenomenon. The son of a literary agent and a casting director, Daniel wasn't just playing a character, he became the face of a billion-dollar industry. By the time the final credits rolled on the 2-part Deathly Hallows, his salary had skyrocketed from a modest $250,000 US to a staggering $25 million US per film. This mountain of gold, fortified by box office bonuses, turned a teenager into one of the wealthiest young men in the world. But for Daniel, the then was a blur of flashing bulbs and the suffocating pressure of being a global messiah. Now, in 2026, at 36 years old, Radcliffe has performed the ultimate vanishing act. He didn't disappear from the world, but he successfully murdered the ghost of Harry Potter to become one of the most daring character actors of his generation. Residing primarily in New York and London, he hasn't touched the bulk of his Hogwarts fortune, allowing it to sit as a safety net that grants him the freedom to choose weird over wealthy. Whether he is portraying a farting corpse, a weird parody musician, or a Broadway lead, the public in 2026 views him not as a child star who burned out, but as a survivor who outran his own shadow. He remains a fixture of the arts, proving that the greatest magic trick of all was surviving the fame that should have swallowed him whole. Number 2. Emma Watson, $60 million US. The girl behind the brightest witch of her age was born in Paris to 2 British lawyers, a lineage that perhaps gifted her the sharp intellect she brought to the role of Hermione Granger at just 10 years old. While her peers were navigating middle school, Emma was navigating ironclad contracts that eventually saw her fixed salary peak at $15 million US for each of the final 2 films. This colossal sum, earned through a decade of discipline, was the price of her childhood. In the then, she was the global symbol of the clever girl, a role she inhabited so naturally that the world struggled to separate the actress from the apprentice. Her $60 million USD fortune was a fortress, built brick by brick with every spell cast and every hand raised in Professor McGonagall's class. Now, in 2026, at 35 years old, Watson stands as a titan of a different sort. She has transcended the silver screen to become a global diplomat and a powerhouse in the sustainable fashion industry. Living between London and New York, she is far from the fallen child star trope. Instead, she is a woman who used her wizarding wealth as venture capital for her convictions. While her acting roles have become rare, selective choices, her influence has never been greater. In the eyes of the 2026 public, she is no longer just Hermione. She is a sophisticated voice for social change who successfully pivoted from the Gryffindor common room to the boardrooms of global conglomerates. She reigns over her fortune with the same meticulous logic she once used to solve Snape's potion riddle, proving that true power isn't in the wand, but in the will to use it for something more than just fame. Number 3. Rupert Grint, $50 million US. The boy with the hand-me-down robes and the flaming red hair was just 11 when he was cast as Ron Weasley, the loyal heart of the Golden Trio. Born in Essex to a racing memorabilia dealer and a housewife, Rupert's then was a whirlwind of sudden, staggering wealth that saw his paycheck climb to a monumental $15 million per film for the final installments. Unlike his co-stars, Rupert's rise was marked by a grounded, almost bewildered charm. He famously bought an ice cream van with his early earnings, a whimsical gesture that hinted at a boy trying to stay a boy, while a $50 million fortune piled up in his bank account. He was the everyman of the wizarding world, the ginger-haired shadow who earned his millions through a decade of unwavering loyalty to a franchise that defined a generation. Now, in 2026, at 37 years old, Grint has built a quiet empire far from the blinding lights of Hollywood. While his then was defined by acting, his now is defined by bricks and mortar. He is a formidable real estate mogul with a property portfolio rumored to be worth over $30 million. Living a relatively private life in the English countryside with his family, Rupert has successfully stepped out of the shadow of the sidekick trope. While he still occasionally graces the screen in prestige horror and indie projects, the public in 2026 views him with a unique kind of respect. The man who took his wizarding gold and traded the fickle nature of fame for the permanence of land and fatherhood. He didn't just survive the Ron Weasley legacy, he outgrew it, proving that you don't need to be the chosen one to win the game of life. Number 4. Alan Rickman, $25 million. The man who breathed life into the complex, shadowed soul of Severus Snape was already a titan of the British stage and a Hollywood icon when he first stepped into the dungeons of Hogwarts. Born into a working-class family in West London, Alan Rickman's then was defined by a career of gravitas that allowed him to command a higher starting salary than the child leads, reportedly earning $1 million per film in the early years and rising to $6 million as the stakes of the Second Wizarding War escalated. For Rickman, the $25 million fortune was not a sudden windfall, but the hard-earned reward of a master craftsman. He was the undisputed veteran on set, a figure of awe whose deep, melodic voice and piercing gaze earned him a wealth that matched his immense talent. Now, in 2026, the silence left by his passing remains profound. Alan Rickman departed this world in January 2016 at the age of 69, leaving behind a legacy that transcends mere numbers, while his estate, valued at roughly $16 million at the time of his death, continues to be managed with the same dignity he carried in life. His now exists in the hearts of millions. In 2026, his performance as Snape is viewed as the cornerstone of the entire franchise, a masterclass in nuance that only grows more poignant with time. Though he is no longer here to grace the stage or screen, the public views him with a reverence that gold cannot buy. He didn't just earn a salary, he earned immortality, proving that even in the face of death, a true legend's light never truly fades. Number 5. Tom Felton, $18 million. The platinum-haired boy who made villainy look elegant was only 13 when he stepped into the expensive shoes of Draco Malfoy. Born in Surrey as the youngest of 4 brothers, Tom Felton didn't come from a dynasty of actors, but he possessed a natural, sneering charisma that made him the perfect foil to the boy who lived. His then is a masterclass in financial efficiency. Despite appearing for a total of only 31 minutes across all 8 films, his importance to the narrative structure earned him a staggering cumulative total of $18 million. By the final films, he was commanding over $2 million per appearance, effectively earning more per minute than almost any other actor in the franchise. He was the wealthy bully on screen, and in reality, he was a teenager sitting on a fortune that most veteran actors would never see in a lifetime. Now, in 2026, at 38 years old, Felton has become the unofficial ambassador and big brother of the Potter generation. While he openly admits to blowing much of his early fortune on reckless teenage purchases like luxury cars, he has spent the last decade rebuilding a career rooted in authenticity and nostalgia. Residing in London and frequently traveling for film and music projects, Tom has embraced his Malfoy legacy rather than running from it. In 2026, the public views him with immense affection, not as a villain, but as a candid, vulnerable artist who used his $18 million head start to fund a life of creative freedom. Whether he is busking with a guitar or writing memoirs about the pressures of child stardom, he remains a beloved fixture of pop culture, proving that even a Slytherin can find redemption in the real world. Number 6. Gary Oldman, $15 million. The man who played Sirius Black did not arrive at Hogwarts as a student, but as an established legend of the silver screen. Born into a working-class family in South London, Gary Oldman had already conquered Hollywood with his chameleon-like ability to disappear into any role before joining the franchise in The Prisoner of Azkaban. His then was a high-stakes negotiation. As an A-list star, he secured a premium salary that saw him earn an estimated $15 million for his limited but pivotal appearances. This sum included not just his time on set, but a significant fee for his likeness and the prestige his name brought to the posters. He was the rock star godfather, the fugitive rebel who infused the series with a raw, emotional intensity that earned him every penny of his multi-million-dollar paycheck. Now, in 2026, at 68 years old, Oldman remains a titan of the industry, reigning supreme as one of the few actors to successfully transition from blockbuster fame to late career awards dominance. Living a refined life, primarily in the United States, he is far from a retired relic. He is currently enjoying a massive resurgence through prestige television and high-concept cinema. His wealth has only multiplied since his days in the Marauders map, but in 2026, the public doesn't talk about his money. They talk about his range. He is viewed as the actor's actor, a survivor of the brutal Hollywood machine who used his Wizarding World earnings to buy the ultimate luxury: the power to never say yes to a script he doesn't love. He is the living proof that a true master of the craft only grows more valuable with age. Whether they left the halls of Hogwarts to build real estate empires, fight for global justice, or passed into the eternal silence of legend, these 8 souls remain bound by the gold and the ghosts of their shared past. Their salaries were astronomical, but the true cost was a lifetime spent in the shadow of a lightning bolt. In 2026, we realize that while the coins in Gringotts may gather dust, the stories they crafted are the only currency that truly never devalues. If you want to uncover more hidden truths behind the world's most iconic legends, strike that subscribe button now and join our investigation. The magic is over, but the history is just beginning.